In this video, I'm going to musically break down the title song from Wicked 2, For Good, and how this song brilliantly tells a story. I would probably consider this song one of the most pivotal moments of Act 2, and maybe of all of Wicked, which is probably why this tagline was chosen. The thesis of the story really explores the relationship between these two main characters and how they've come from enemies to friends, or at least a mutual admiration and respect. And also of their long journey and how they've changed each other. This scene marks their final meeting, and their shared awareness of it leads to a very truthful and honest farewell. And all of this is framed expertly in the music written by the composer Stephen Schwartz, in which he uses all of these compositional techniques which heightens the scene and makes it one of the most quintessential Broadway musical theater moments. Through tension and suspended harmonies, pedal notes, and repeated musical themes that tie everything together. Before we get started, I want to thank you for your continued support. I would like to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Wicked for Good? What are your favorite moments and your favorite songs? Let me know in the comments. And also, please consider subscribing to my channel or becoming a free or paid patron on my Patreon. There I post weekly updates about shows and soundtracks I listen to. I just recently posted my review for Wicked 2, which is free to read. Anyways, let's break down For Good. The song actually starts with a short intro of Unlimited. Unlimited. It's a musical theme that we get quite a lot in the show. For instance, right? It's also compositionally known as a leitmotif. In this case, aptly named the Unlimited theme. It represents Elphaba's hopes and dreams, her freedom, and it's a call to action. It's also an homage to Somewhere Over the Rainbow from Wizard of Oz. Somewhere over the rainbow, unlimited. They're the same notes. And it also represents Dorothy's hopes and dreams as well. And the motif reaches a full octave, the longest interval we have, basically to represent and express their far-reaching longing that they have. And the rest of the intro is a callback to Elphaba's The Wizard and I, her I Want song. And check out that video on my channel too, where I break that song down as well.
It sounds truly crazy. And true, the vision's hazy.
And this melody that we get at the end of Elphaba's journey is now recontextualized. She's experienced so much, she's lost so much, and we continue this melody until we get to the meat of the song.
To you.
And it does something brilliant here that we get quite a lot more in the song. And the melody rises up to a G sharp. Now it's up to you. After it rises up to a G sharp, it seemingly resolves to the same note. But it's an A flat now, which is the same note. So we have this note that is recontextualized, right? We have this intro, then we have the actual start of the song, and we have this note that kind of bridges across, like a rainbow. I'll be doing a lot of this during this video. Anyways, we have this melody, which we will get quite a lot more in this song. For instance, I have been changed for good, right? And also like the melody of the chorus as well. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, na na na, right? Also, these particular notes, at least the first three, are the Unlimited theme. But instead of going D flat, A flat, D flat, it goes D flat, A flat, back to D flat. And right how the original motif kind of spans that whole octave to show her yearning, maybe Elphaba now has completed her story arc, her character arc, and no longer has that yearning in her. So Stephen Schwartz, when writing this song, latched onto the idea of for good. Of course, it's about how these two characters have changed each other for good permanently, but he also liked the double meaning of the title as Elphaba's battling the philosophical ideas of good versus wicked. The next measure, it's reminiscent of the second half of our Unlimited theme. But instead of something clean, like maybe octaves, we get something that's a bit dissonant. All the notes kind of clash, right? But they're all sevenths. And I feel like each of these two voices represents these two characters, how they are kind of on the same path, but they don't see eye to eye, which is fine. And also in the intro, we also have this random bar of 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Which is a bit strange because honestly the song would sound conventionally better if it was just the normal bar of 4. I've heard it said, right? But I think it's a brilliant and intentional choice. It's not easy to say these words that these characters are saying to each other. It's heartfelt and it's a bit uncomfortable. They're holding space. And this is something that we get a lot in this song. Stephen Schwartz enlisted the help from his adult daughter to write these lyrics. He posed this question to her. If you had to write a letter to your best friend that you knew that you wouldn't see ever again, what would you want to say? And Schwartz took a lot of material from that to make these lyrics. And I feel like it gives it such an earnest feel to it. But the orchestration is also where this song shines. In this section, we just get some keyboards playing with, of course, the beautiful vocals. Now in the next section, we get something brilliant. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true. Well, I know that this is a very brilliant section right here because you can hear that the chords are rising in tension. But throughout that, the chords are centering around D flat. D flat, D flat, D flat, D flat. So this is what is known as a pedal note, coming from an older tradition of organ players using their feet to play notes on their pedals while their hands change the chords. In this case, the pedal note is in the high register, right? But Schwartz goes even further still. This D flat gets recontextualized to the C sharp of A major. And our pedal note continues to this F sharp minor chord. And this F sharp minor chord sets us up for something brilliant. And for now, I'm going to ignore this chord, which is, it sounds nice, but it doesn't serve a purpose except for passing to the next chord. Anyways, this F sharp minor chord is setting us up for a 2-5-1. If you don't know why it's called the 2-5-1, I'm not going to explain it now. But basically, look at this circle of fifths. We resolve tension going this way. So in this case, we have the F sharp minor, which holds tension, but resolves to the B, which also holds tension, and resolves to the E. The 2-5-1. But you'll notice that's not actually what this song does. While it has the 2-5, you'll notice that it resolves up to the D flat, our original key.
Because I knew you like a comet.
And this rising resolution helps us transition into the chorus, which is satisfying and uplifting and a bit unexpected. Anyways, to recap, we start in D flat. We go on this journey to a whole new tonality before we come back to this D flat. Very much like our character who has gone on a long journey and has now returned. Anyways, we do all of that through having a pedal note, right? This new tonality sets us up for the 2-5, but then we resolve up to the D flat. Now moving on to the chorus, we have a brilliant example of another pedal note. However, it's not written in this music. It's played in the violins. It's this high A flat that you hear up here. The violins are just holding this note up here while the chords change beneath it. I just wanted you to appreciate that. And speaking of these chords, I'm going to jump to the next chorus so we can visualize it a bit easier. So we have this beautiful bass progression that goes up and repeats again higher. And what we have here in this section is we are in our tonality of D flat. The next chord is a suspended chord. It holds tension. And the next chord, also some sort of suspended chord that holds tension and resolves back to D flat. So D flat, tension, tension, back home. So once again, we are in our home key of D flat. We have all these suspended chords before we go back to this D flat. And as mentioned before, the melody of the chorus is just a deconstruction of the musical theme that we have at the beginning. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea. Structurally, it's a very simple song. We have an intro, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, a bridge, and a final chorus that they sing together. And the melody that they sing in the bridge is just the unlimited theme. And just to clear the air, right? And going into the bridge, like how we had a pedal note in the verse, we have this D flat. I have been changed for good. Instead of going to for good, we have this to the F sharp. I have been changed for good. And the chord progression we get at the bridge is basically an elongated version of that section that we have at the bridge, which is fantastic at building up that energy and that tension until we get to the final chorus. F sharp, B, F sharp, B. And then here's kind of the A chord, and the F sharp, and the B. We rise to the D flat to the final chorus. And at this final chorus, they're singing together. It sounds gorgeous. They're kind of echoing each other, of course, but they're not copying each other. But they're singing it in such gorgeous harmonies that really complement each other. I also love this last part that they sing. Because I knew you. And they sing it again, reaching even higher. Because I knew you. And this very last time they sing it. Because I knew you, and completing the unlimited theme. And they end with our musical theme, I have been changed. And they end in unison together, for good. And I also think it's beautiful and symbolic that they've come together to sing this last note in unison instead of with harmonies. Ultimately, For Good works not because it just tells a story of how these women are changed. It makes us feel the gravity of the change through all these composition techniques, through the suspensions and the resolutions, through the pedal notes. And by weaving in the unlimited theme, once a symbol of solo ambition, and to a final grounded moment of unison, Stephen Schwartz shows the end of the journey through kind of the footprint that they've left on each other. It is a masterclass of storytelling and composition. And it's a song that takes us on a journey and back again. And I feel like For Good remains the emotional heartbeat of the entire story. Anyways, what are your thoughts on the song? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time.